Greetings to all. Welcome to the first program of Stepping into the Light for 2025 with your host, Ras Bishai, at Bay Hill Radio and Concardi Radio, Tuesday, 7th January. That was our theme song, Exodus by Bob Marley. Yes. And we get straight into giving ISIS, the first ISIS of this calendar year on this program. Yes, we say Marta Tep to all listening to and following this program. To be here with for a program, another program here. As we give thanks, and I give thanks. ISIS. Glory to the Word, glory to the Son, and glory to the power of the Most High, Jah Rastafari. Almighty creators of this universe, and I give thanks for your love, your care, and your guidance throughout the time, and for bringing Anna here for another program. Keep shining thy light into Anna paths as Anna go stepping into the light and on to Mount Zion. Blessed be the high rates of His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie I, and Her Imperial Majesty, Empress Menen. One perfect balance. Blessed be the high rates of I and I ancestors in Heteru, which walk alongside I and I always, keep I and I feet from slippage and falling, I and I hands from pilfering and stealing, and I mouths from slander and idle speaking. And I call on the goddess Maat and the 42 divine ones from creation to keep I and I people firmly on the 7 basic principles of truth, order, balance, harmony, law, morality, and justice. Give an eye life over death, light over darkness, mind over matter, and good over evil every time. Ashe. Yes, and if you're hearing something in the background, in the foreground, background, front ground, it's the shower of blessings of the rain falling on the roof. Great, great, great blessing with this time. So far, we having a good January. Yes, but we have to acknowledge and give thanks to the owners and operators of Bay Hill Radio and those of Concardi Radio, as well as to the sponsors of this program. Hope that you had a great season and you're enjoying, full enjoying the start of this calendar year. Not really the new year lunar-wise as yet, but it's the calendar year in the system. So I hope everything is going well with you. And of course, special greetings to and acknowledgement to you, the listeners, especially those of you who are right in tune right now, getting it first off the bat in this time. The listeners to this program worldwide. You make it a reality. We also have to say thanks to our neighbor and friends over in Barbados, Politically Incorrect, who stream this program from time to time. And my brother, I hope that you arrive safely in Barbados from your short sojourn in Vincy, and that everything is okay. Yes, so people, we are still in the first month of the last season of the lunar cycle, lunar calendar. It's winter, but we are into the first week. Today is actually the end of the first week, calendar week, in this system, calendar year. Being the 7th. Today is a very important day in terms of what's happening in the aeration, vibration-wise. Yes, and we'll get a little more of that as we get into the biodynamic gardening, planting by the Moon Phase Guide. Because right now we are into what is known as the waxing gibbous phase of the moon. And it couldn't be in a more powerful phase than in this time when everything is The vibrations are up, 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 up. The earth is exhaling. Everything is going up. So what are the happenings? What are we dealing with in this first program for this time? Well, basically, the title is the program's focus for 2025. The program's focus, what this program is going to focus on for 2025. That's what we're saying. And what is it? We are leading the way for the transformation of the agriculture sector and the food sector in this country. URMIN, or some people prefer to call it SPG, St. Vincent and Grenadines. But we know that's a corporation, but URMIN is the real land. Yes, leading the way for the transformation of the agricultural and food sector in this country. We're going to look at what exists and why, what is going to be done, the way forward, and what will be the product. Yes, that's the major focus on the program tonight. You're also going to have the biodynamic gardening, planting by the moon phase guide for the period Wednesday the 8th January, that's tomorrow, to Tuesday 14 January, next Tuesday 2025. Okay? And of course, during the program, we're going to have some 3 lovely songs which fit right into our program. So, to start us off tonight, start off the meat of the program tonight, we are going to look at where we are now. Not guessing, we know where we are. We know exactly where we are. And where we are, that knowledge, that belief, that knowledge has put us in a position to focus on solutions to the pollution. And in solutions to the pollution, we've put in a lot of words into action, because this is a year of more action than words. This is a year of more action than words. So, what are the main characteristic features of the food and agriculture sector as of the end of December 2024 and of the start of winter, which was in the 3rd week in December, and out of the start of this calendar year? What characteristics, what main characteristic feature of the food and agriculture sector? If you don't have that, then you can't plan properly going forward. So that is the structure, that is the system we use. There are 4 basic characters, right, which I have noted here. 1, very low production of basic and other economic commodities. Very low production of basic and other commodities at the moment. There's no question about that. You just have to walk through the market and look at the, you don't even have to ask anything. Look at the prices and you would see where the prices have gone relative to 2023 and before that. And the availability also. And just walk around the country and you would see that the level of production in terms of lands being worked is low compared to other years. Second one is weak farmers and fisherfolk organizations. Yes, weak farmers and fisherfolk organizations. And we're going to look into each of these things in depth as to why they are so. And then we're going to say what is going to be done to get them transformed. Okay? The third point is, third characteristic here is low productivity at all stages and all levels in the food and agriculture sector. Low productivity. Productivity of people, productivity of technology, productivity of the genetics and the natural climate and natural things that we have, not making the most of them. And the fourth main feature we're going to characteristic feature we're going to look at is a lack of development agenda, and a development focus. We do not have that in this system as we go over there. We don't have a development agenda. Might have an agenda, but not a development agenda and a development focus. Yes. So what are the reasons for and the expressions of those four things? Let us look at the first one. Very low productivity of basic and other commodities. The main reasons we're looking at. One is man-made climate change and the climate manipulation that's going on. That's causing crops to fail. Remember last year, the climate, they're blaming a lot of things on climate change, as if the climate change, what they're calling climate change, is natural. But when you dig deep and you look closely, it's not natural. It's man-made, and in a lot of cases, it's weaponized and deliberate. So we had a rough first 5 months of the year last year in terms of the weather, dryness and so on. And then, as soon as summer started, we had a hurricane, a terrible one. And we're still reviving from both of those events. Okay, so that is one of the main reasons, the man-made climate change, manipulation, and climate manipulation. The second one is the system forcing on the people the devil's philosophy. And what is that? That agriculture is a thing of the past. And they're trying to replace it with a one-sided, half-baked tourism system as the main socio-cultural economic pillar for this country. You hear me, St. Vincent? Well, we know it's not working and it's not going to work. Not the way how they have it. Not the way. Okay? They say agriculture, they try to force that philosophy on us. But they can't make it. We have to remember that the saying which goes like this, there is no culture without agriculture. And that's a truism. There is no culture without agriculture. And the third reason for this one is that the heavy use of hybrid planting material which have been genetically engineered or genetically modified. That is one of the reasons for our low production and low marketing volumes, because a lot of things perish in the post-harvest stages because of this, the way how their whole genetic structures organized now. We have a heavy use of hybrid planting material, and this includes tissue culture, and also material which has been genetically engineered and genetically modified. And that is happening in every crop in this country. What are the main reasons for and expressions of weak farmers and weak fisherfolk organizations? These are, first one, the deliberate effort and policy to get farmers and fisherfolk to form and join cooperatives which are government or state controlled and not designed to empower the farmers and the fisherfolk. These organizations, so-called cooperatives, are not designed to empower the farmers nor the fisherfolk, or to have them anywhere in a final decision-making capacity in terms of the policies which should govern this country and which should be implemented. And it's deliberate, and the liberation didn't start from inside. It has been carried out by those inside. It's been ordered from outside. Okay? These cooperatives, not too long ago, last year, late in the year, they admitted in a symposium that the cooperatives, the registered productive cooperative, need rejuvenating. You know, when you rejuvenate somebody, what happens? What stage they are in when you do that? Some of them hadn't had a meeting for 5 years. The second reason in this one is the neo-colonial domesticated mindset of the farmers and the fisher folk, which causes them, the neo-colonial domesticated mindset of the farmers and fisher folk, which causes them to act individually, not think critically, be overly dependent on the state system, and not to see the light ahead. That is the opportunities and progress possible. So yes, farmers, you have a lot of responsibility in the state in which fish and fisher folk, in which the state of which your sector is in, the poor state. In terms of the third characteristic feature, the low productivity at all stages and levels, is the low vibrational state of the people because of what they are eating, consuming, and drinking, and what they are taking in mentally. The low vibrational state of the people, the lack of drive and energy and enthusiasm, low levels of adoption of new technology and appropriate technology, high levels of non-communicable diseases among the people, of the people and their representatives in the decision-making process. Right. And the reason for an expression of the fourth characteristic features, which is the lack of development, of a development agenda and development focus, is this one. Some people have seen it, some people have seen it, but many have not seen it. The deliberate promotion of an underdevelopment socioeconomic model on the masses of the people by the system controllers, and designed. Yes, it is forced on them by the system controllers and the designers. The enforcement of sustained mental slavery and impoverishment. That is what is happening. Deliberate promotion of an underdevelopment socioeconomic model. That is what is going on in countries like these, on the masses of the people, by the system controllers and designers. And the enforcement of sustained mental slavery and impoverishment. Okay. So that is where we are. But what happened now? What do you think happened? Jody have a job to do. So Natty have to ride. So we're gonna ride. Ride, Natty, ride. Bring it up. So we have a job to do. First song for the night. Ride, Natty, ride. Let's go. All the dread. You have a job to do. I know you have a job to do. I, Trishan, you have a job to do. Yes, I. Make sure you know you have a job to do. Walada, you have a job to do. All who listen to this program, you have a job to do. And we're going to do it together. Never mind who want to see the hurt. Okay? No matter what they do, keep on coming through, man. No matter what they say, and I did it every day. Writing again from the mystics of tomorrow. Because we have no fear and we have no sorrow. Because they build their world on great confusion. We hear that? And try to force on us the devil's illusion. That agriculture is a thing of the past. But right now, look at the scramble going on. Look at the scramble going on. I just say worldwide. Agriculture and food. So much scramble so that in the system, I had a big laugh yesterday, the day before, and today, couple days. You see what going around sharing out the rice, the so-called rice, and you see what mark on the bag? If you're not seeing what, if you didn't see what mark on the bag, look carefully. Now they're talking about love. Now they're talking about love. Love from Taiwan. You could imagine that? People, wake up, eh? Wake up. Wake up. Wake up and live. Stop sleeping. Yes. So the stone that the builder refused is no, because it shall be the head cornerstone. Shall be head cornerstone. And that is what it is right now. Everywhere over this earth now. Every country, never mind how much mineral wealth or energy wealth it has, it's looking to plant food, more food, because that is the most important thing. They're looking to do agriculture. That is the most important thing. It is the first culture, and without that, there could be no culture. So nobody, a good thing how people stick up and never accept that devil's illusion. Nobody could force that in any. Okay? Because we have the love, the fire inside. Could never burn like quench that fire inside, burning down inside. So this is the time to know and not the time to believe. This is the time to know. And we're going to teach the truth. So when you know it, you have no use and no reason and no need for believing. Drop all them things there, all them philosophy about believing. You have to know. Knowledge is power. If you don't know, you don't have any power. You're powerless. And when you put what you know together, collectively, security, nobody could defeat you. Nobody could defeat that. Nobody could defeat that. No other system. Okay? Yeah, so as the brother says, now the fire is out of control. Can't control this fire again. Panic in the city, the wicked weeping for their gold. Both the material gold and their gold. G-O-A-L and G-O-L-D. Because they ain't reaching the gold. And everywhere the fire is burning, destroying and melting their gold, destroying and wasting their soul. When I have to ride. Ride, not the ride. So, what we're going to do is go straight into the biodynamic gardening, planting by the moon phase guide for this period. Because I hope that you have at least planted something already for this calendar year, for this week, okay? A few days we gone 1 week already in the calendar year. And the week that we went into was a plan. We started the year started, the calendar year started, the week started, the winter week started with a positive moon phase, waxing crescent moon phase. That is soon after the new moon came up. So you had all that time, and then it merged now into the waxing gibbous. Because the last quarter, the first quarter just went. Okay? So you should be making some planting of something, some seed, something you have to put in the earth. And particularly at this time, that time, and this time, it's above ground crops. Above ground crops. For the first week where that went, but basically the leaf crops and cucumber and corn. And for now, we are asking to the waxing gibbous phase as of giving you this guidance from tomorrow, Wednesday 8th. Waxing gibbous phase, so it's best for planting above ground short crops, especially fruit plants, plants that bear fruits. The tomatoes, those sort of thing, the eggplants, the sweet peppers, anything that bears seeds above the ground. Peas, these things, the okra, thing with seeds and so that bear above the ground. Corn, and also flowers. Plants that, where the most value of the plant, valuable part of the plant is the flower. Okay? It's also great to mow lawns, graft, and prune. So you have this waxing gibbous phase going right up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. On Monday next, that would be Monday the 13th, it will be the full moon. The waxing gibbous will reach to its maximum. Can't wax anymore. You have to start to wane after that. Still in the gibbous form, but it can't wax anymore. So that will be the full moon. Full. Can't get fuller than full. And the full moon of the 13th is a time to rest, celebrate, and meditate. And a great time to pick medicinal plants and herbs. Okay? And June the 14th, which is Tuesday, next Tuesday, it will be the first day of the waning gibbous phase, where that phase is best for planting below ground plants, especially root plants. You have a dashing to plant, you have a edos to plant, you have your sweet potatoes to plant, because we had your sweet potatoes in this place now, And people should really, depending on your ecozone, the amount of moisture you have and where you are, you should be planting some into then to be every vibe. Okay? So we'll always have sweet potato, and you won't have white thing. And you want to people substituted it all kind of foolish stuff. What it has in it as, things that the remnants of their production system. Some of them are very carcinogenic, cancer causing. Okay, that is why we have to ride. That's why not you have to ride. So Tuesday would be the waning gibbous. We plant below the ground plants, root plants. Still a good time to plant for those who want to plant it, Irish potatoes. Still a good time to plant onions. Okay? Might be a little late for the garlic because garlic is about 6 months crop. So it'll be running into probably wet weather by the time you're ready to harvest, and that is not what you really want with the garlic. There's also a good time to plant trees, shrubs, and perennials, things that grow for generations. But it's also a great time to harvest all crops. A good time of the moon phase to fertilize and to transplant. And of course, what you can do in every phase is to mow lawns and prune. Mow lawns and prune. So in this week, the rest of this week, today is just Tuesday, tomorrow is the 8th, right up to next time we have this next meeting, I expect you to do something in your farm or your garden or whatever, in your potted plants, whatever, flowers, whatever you have, put something in the earth. Better if it's food. Better if it's food. Because food is the most important thing now. What you eat, put on reason for that. In terms of health, look where we are. Going to some advice to you. Some of it I gave in the year gone, calendar year gone, the season's gone. I'm giving it again in this winter season, in this last of this lunar year and the first of this calendar year, especially for the women folk and the children. Avoid the use of certain oils. I know it's difficult for you, because the way how your mind conditioned, the way how they have programmed your mind, the first thing you do when you because it's on the shelf is something you must use. That's how you've been programmed. And that is why not you have a work to do. You have to transform your mindset and transform your thinking, because health is your most important thing. And what is happening, what has happened, and what is happening now is causing our low production and our low productivity, accounting for that, and our high level of non-communicable diseases. Anytime, as far as strong, if you want to be a strong any so I tell you, yes, live from there in a good. It's not good for you. Because by the time you use that in a company supermarket, next time you don't put on 10 pounds, 12 pounds of fat, which you ain't going to get off so easy. And the dangerous thing too, it's all over your liver, your kidney, your arteries, everything. You get slow, you can't do as much work as we could do. Productivity gone down. You get infertile because of the things inside. You have all kind of fibroids and all ingredient in you. Where you could make 3 and 4 and 5 healthy children, you could only make 1, or you could hardly make 1. That's what's happening. But the people not taking heed. Because it's easier, just jump out of van or wherever come for you run into supermarket, pick up this and that and that. Avoid canola and soybean and corn oil. Them three major oils, the main oil, left them right with the dip on the shelf. And now even try to give picnic on. Don't give your children any of those either. Okay? Though that is one of the major thing I have to say. Because one of the things that is happening now is that we're having problems because of what we're eating and because of what many of our people have become. We're having problems with our transportation system. A van that is licensed to carry 14 could only carry 10 now. Why? Because the 14 ordinary people, random people can't hold in that van again comfortably. Why? Because 7 of them oversized. It's double. Either male or female. So you're taking up more space they should not need. Take up. So we have to do what we have to do. And then going forward, we're going to be planting the type of foods with a system, a type of system that will produce quality foods. Quality foods, both in terms of its nutrient density and in terms of its genetics. See, there's some of the things we're going to go into later in the second half of the program. Right? We are going to ask our good radios to identify themselves and our sponsors to have a word. And again, as I've been saying before, we need you to encourage you and to encourage other people to patronize our sponsors. Okay? So we take a word from our sponsors and identification from the radio. Not certain if they're ready for us, but
it's the Vin Abbott Show with news, views, and interviews. The music in the mix on Saturdays, 4 p.m. Kankadi Radio.
Join your host, Ross Bishai, for Stepping into the Light at Bihil Online Radio and Kankadi Radio. Ross Bishai steps into the light of food and agriculture, culture and liberty. Stepping into the light lifts the level of your self-consciousness, activates your collective security genetic code, raises your earthly vibrations. To win in this Armageddon, you must listen to Stepping into the Light with host Ross Bishai.
When in Antigua, travel with Alvin Bully Bus services between Pigot's Village and St. John's on Old Firearm Road. We also conduct island tours 7 days per week, all in comfort, style, and safety. For more information, contact Alvin Bully, 1268-764-2869. That's 1268-764-2869.
Boost your brand's visibility with Branding by Weeks. At Branding by Weeks, we are passionate about helping brands gain exposure and make a significant impact. Let us elevate your brand's visibility and reach new heights. Connect with us today by email at spweeks@hotmail.com or message us on WhatsApp, 613-866-8939.
Hi, this is Steve Bridgman from Nashville, Tennessee in the USA, and you're listening to some of the best music around.
BayHillNews.net.
Join your host, Ross Bishai, for Stepping into the Light at Bihil Online Radio and Kankadi Radio. Ross Bishai steps into the light of food and agriculture, culture and liberty. Stepping into the light lifts the level of your self-consciousness, activates your collective security genetic code, raises your earthly vibrations. To win in this Armageddon, you must listen to Stepping into the Light with host Ross Bishai.
Yes, people. We are going to look at the way forward. The way forward. And the mission, remember I said that we have a work to do. We have a job to do. the mission and the work of Nature Eye, and you should know by now what Nature Eye stands for, the expression Nature Eye. National, meaning I and I, the nation. Agrarian, everything to do with the land, everything to do with the land. Transformation has to be there. Unification, without unity there is no strength. Replenishment, we must replenish the earth. Enterprise, and the I is for innovation. So if you're not innovative in them times here, you're just wasting time. So Nature Eye is in harmony with a company based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, called Great Grow International. Been in touch with this company, Great Grow, since 2014. See how long these things take before you start bear fruit? But you have to be patient, because patience is a virtue, and you have to develop that virtue. Okay? This is not as some people, one brother said to I, and still involved being a really, everybody has to be involved, but teamwork. Okay? These are the people who manufactured at that time the microbial fertilizers that I distributed here from 2014, 2015, 2016. Aerobic microbial fertilizers. And those of you who used it know of its power. You know what it is, because 100% natural, 100% biology, positive. Okay? And you know the results that you got. And I use it in several things, and of course noted everything that happened, and we know, and they use it in America, different states and several things, and they know what it's possible of. But unfortunately, the company went out of operation in 2016 when one of the major shareholders pulled out for whatever reason. He has to know. And now, company is poised to start activities again soon. When I say soon, I mean in a matter of months, few months. Okay? So, what we had drafted for the company, including in St. Vincent here, because these are the only two countries, this apart from the United States, the only other country where the company would be present would be this country. That is why our ancestors, the interest, the real interest and desire of the major people in the company after the product going to happen soon on a large scale. So look out for that. Okay? And they're going to invest in the development and transform the food and agricultural sector in harmony with Nature Eye. Nature Eye and Great Grow. So there will be Great Grow International and be Great Grow St. Vincent Grenadine, Great Grow Urine. Yes, what are we going to invest in? The development, that's what lacking here, to invest in development and transformation, not reformation, transformation of the food and agricultural sector. Yeah. So, a lot of people are ready for that. because a lot of people have been speaking to over the times. And look how fast 10 years has gone into the 11th year now, 11 years, probably almost, have gone. And we are here. And I want to thank all those who were positively involved in putting things together to make this reach the stage where it is. And as soon as we get to the juncture where things are flowing, of course, you will be thanking another way. Yes, we got work to do, and we're going to do that work. And why we got work? Why do we have work to do? Why are we going to do that work? We are going to do that work because we are in the Armageddon, and in this Armageddon, it called for warriors. We are warriors. We are warriors. Rima, tell the people how we are warriors. Tell them we are warriors in this heretical battle we here in this Armageddon. And we are warriors who are going to win. So, yes, from all those Behil Radio, from Kankadi Radio, from Nature Eye, from the listeners, the sponsors, we are warriors. Warriors in this Armageddon. Yes, all the listeners to this warrior. See little page from F late in the year gone, the season gone there. We are warriors. We are warriors. We are going to transform the agricultural and food sector in a development way. Yes, we not sell we soul for no mortal. And when we burn the flame, it's not normal. Yes, I. So on whether we out on the road or we in the warriors. Mm-hmm. So that is what we know. Listening are competitive on who market and in the international in our agriculture and food. We are not competitive. And it has nothing because size does not in itself determine whether you could compete internationally or not. Right? And here one of the simple things that blew that myth out of the bag. For those who are wrong in the 1980s, and not even going to the 70s, the 80s and the 90s. Okay? And even before that, giving you some history, some actual story of I and I people. Before that time, 3, 4, 5 generations ago, generation is 30 years, 6 generations ago. Even before that, this little grouping of rocks, which we call Uramen, which they call St. Vincent and Grenadine, which some of our ancestors call Hyrona, was noted for having the best quality soils given by nature in the entire region. So we produce the best genuine arrowroot, still recognized in the world. We have a patent for that, okay? We produce the best quality and longest length Sea Island cotton. These are international records that they know. They don't teach them in school, but they're there. Best length, longest length. Those are 2 of the things happening those times. We produce the best root crops in the entire region. That is because of the structure of our soils. These are the days when we wouldn't fill in the soil with all these chemicals and these genetically modified crop that we have all over the place. And these so-called tissue culture, which really have no culture in it. Because not our culture. Right? That's why we have to transform. Never mind what they say. And who don't want to go so? You stay where you are. You the one gonna suffer because right now you have very little competition. You can't compete. You know it. We're gonna build a system, a production and marketing system, which is internationally competitive because of the level of togetherness and skills and know-how of the people who will be involved. Okay? That's what we have to do. Coming forward now in the 1980s and 90s, well, even before that, one of the crops I must point out, the same root crop that is scarce right now, sweet potatoes, we were listed as one of the 2 best sweet potato producing countries in the world, South Africa and this land. We don't teach them thing in any school either, but we know that. We were taught that. Our professor at the university, soil professor, told us that, and our crop professor, and showed us that. And we recognize that, and we check it out, and it was true. Right now, you can't get a good, as we say, heap of sweet potato to buy in the country. Why? The soil ain't rotten, the soil ain't gone anyway. So we have to transform from the reasons which preventing that to get to the reasons which making it happen. That's what we're talking about. As a warrior, that's why Rima say we are warriors. We ain't losing this fight. Right now, we winning. Yes, we winning. Yes. Because we see that we know Babylon a thief, we know war them wrong, and we don't see it already. So we dash a fire and chant them down. The consciousness they never teach we. So the youths, you have to wake up. You can't be sleepy. You can't be sleepy. All the system is a big cooperation. And you're not involved in it. You are being crushed by it. Right? They want to sell you out with one roll of the dice, but it ain't going to happen because we're not in them dice game. We're not in it. We don't believe what's going to come up. We know what's coming up. So we have to make it happen. So that is one part of it. Today, the quality of our food, going forward, let me finish that point about size and quality. In the 1980s and 90s, this little land, because of what we achieved in the quality of our cannabis, our marijuana, our ganja, it angered the bigger powers in the world because they had a long-term plan. Their long-term plan was being challenged. And they say, how come this little nut of an island could be challenging us? And the other countries that were almost in the same league with us, the same league, who we overtook, like Jamaica and Colombia and Panama, in this side of the world. And in the other side of the world, they were already over there, Afghanistan, stealing the people's, all these countries, cannabis, germplasm seeds to develop what they have now, a multi-billion-dollar medicinal cannabis industry. Because they knew, we knew too, but our people didn't take it seriously, most of the people system. So they forced the lie on our leaders politically. And they swallow it. All the leaders, and religiously. And said how it was a dangerous plant. And today it's the most sought out plant in the entire world because of its medicinal properties. All kind of medicine. And its spiritual properties. Positive vibration. So we, the small rock, produced the best quality in those days and generated income. So because the people who are getting healthy and wealthy at the same time, they formulated this international thing about war against drugs and included it with the stroke of their pen in a grouping of toxic things. But today, Today, you don't take a man word for it, you know, go and go just a little research on the web. Just go on YouTube and you will see where, first of all, you could find out what the present international market is and what is forecasted to the market in the next 5 years. The amount of money they have there, if they put them in $100 bills, none of you could move them from one point. If you live in Kittels and they tell you bring them in Camden Park, without a truck or without a vehicle, bring them physically, it take you more than a year to move the money, how much it is. You could walk every day, whole night, whole day, you ain't gonna move it. That's how it is. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. US dollars, hundreds of billions. So, at the same time, the food they're feeding us, they're keeping down our agriculture and feeding us crap food. Because the crap food they're putting in us, dulling your senses, dulling your third eye. It doesn't give you any vibration to think or to question. That with the narrative they're giving you in the system that have control you. And then they're not teaching in the curriculum the practical things. Had an experience just yesterday. I had a brethren who represent a group in just across the water. Big up to you again, Ras Emmanuel Barilla. Politically incorrect. The two countries that our first trading partner, our ancestors' first trading partner was Barbados. I mean, it was so close between the indigenous people of Barbados and here that in the dry season, or like now, half of the Barbados well able-bodied people used to be over here gathering food and wood and water to take over to their people. That is why when the British came in 1625, most of the people they met at the island when they came at the time of the year were the aged, the very youth, and the infirm. Most of the strong-bodied ones over here looking for that. We've been trading since in that time, since before the white man had the courage to cross the Atlantic. We've been trading. So anyway, the brethren and I and some other people doing some business now in the fishery sector. And thanks to the officials in that sector who we met with and were very gracious and accommodating in their reasoning and so on. Some of the things that are revealing now, which I had known to some extent but got great proof, a lot of the blame for the non-performance and the underperformance of the fishing sector must go with the fisher folk. Don't try to escape it. Of course, things are against you in many ways, but a lot of things, it's almost 50-50 now. You have to take 50% of the blame. Because a lot of things have been put in place for you, not just now, but since the 90s. And you never aspire to them. You never accept them because all you're seeing is the next meal. You're not these people who put these things there for us to avail us, like the Japanese in the 1990s when they built that Kingston, New Kingston Fish Market thing, had put different things in place. One of the things they put in place was to have chill facilities, ice boxes in every boat that was leaving here, so that by the time you catch a fish, from the time the fish is out of the water, it is an ice box preserving its shelf life and its health, its sanitation. Because you can't bring toxic fish from off the sea to sell people for food. It's food you're handling. Right? And they had courses set up for that. And they had a program set up to do that. And at the time, the fisher folk refused, most of them, on some simple thing that the boat too small to put in an ice box. They ain't got enough room. No, it's not the boat that's too small, it's your mind too small. Because you're only thinking today for today. And if your mind was bigger, we would have been at least where Grenada is, with the size of craft they have, and the age group, more than half of the people who operate the 100 and odd fishing, seafaring. I thought about boats that go out and spend a long time, couple of nights in the sea, long liners in Grenada. More than half of the people who own and control them in 30 years yet of age. But you have some big hardback man here and woman. They mind fixed in this Disneyland mentality and not for a business mentality. They have been domesticated in a way to keep them backward. That's the way I could put it, the simplest way I could put it for everybody to what's going on. And as some people say, they have a yard fowl mentality. Because yard fowl is one of the most domesticated animals you have. Okay? And we have to get out of that. You can't be sleeping in this time. So we're going to be appealing to the youth. The youth are the ones we're going to be appealing to. Because most of the people who ain't rich, who pass the youth, it would be difficult to get them to change their mindset. Some will come in a few, but not much right now. It's easier to bend the tree when it's young. So we're going to be bending a lot of trees when they're young. A lot of trees when they're young. So here you have it. You have people coming in with money, with ideas, with equipment, ready to do business because this country has, as a gift of nature, the biggest area of sea water in the region. We control that, okay? Goes way into the Caribbean Sea, westwards. Okay? And the resources in that, if we use, harness and use properly, would make us a very, very wealthy country. Very wealthy. But the system is not organized in a way to train our people and educate our people and inform our people, prepare them to make the best use of this resource. And the people themselves have no desire to take a lot of this training. That is why we are where we are. So here where we are, one of the foolish things, and this one had to be foolish. I laughed at it when their manager told us about it yesterday. A lot of the fisher folk now are saying, it is the men. And hear what they're saying? Me not going out of overseas, go spend no 3, 4, 5 nights out there on the street and left my home and home. You hear the kind of nonsense these guys talking? Huh? You hear the kind of nonsense? So these are the things, some of the things, the mindset that we have to clean up in this younger generation now, to make sure that we transform the foolishness that's going on in this country. Because most people say it's politics. Well, of course, politics have a lot to do with it, but a lot of it is the ignorance of our people too, and the deliberate ignorance and the falling in love with the ignorance that they exhibit. So we have to have a completely different development system, education and training system. We have to build an army which is equipped with the knowledge and the equipment, the tools and the technology and all the means necessary to transform the system into a productive one. Okay? So the Great Go is going to invest along with Nature Eye, in the development and transformation of the food and agriculture sector. One of the things that we're going to do, we're not going into any details here, And we're not scared of anyone stealing our ideas because you can't steal our ideas. Our ideas are not on paper. Our ideas in the irates. So you could have the words, but you don't know how to implement. Enough time you try it and fail. You always draw a bad card. Yes, we're going to develop an army. We're looking to train, and I'm saying this because I want the people to be prepared mentally for it. It's coming very quickly. Look, we already almost in the 8 days. We enter in the 8th day of January when you get up in the morning by the will of the Most High. Okay? That's to tell you how far you, that last year done gone there. You can't remember that. Forward we're going. We want to train at least 400 people a year in different areas of the food and agriculture sector. Skills in every sector. Management skills, production skills, marketing skills, value-adding skills, transformation skills, secretarial skills, technological skills, sustenance skills, all the skills, so that we have no shortage of anything. No shortage of anything. Not even vision. Because we have resources which other people have been using to our disadvantage and getting wealthy off. We have resources to replenish and to use and to gain health and wealth from. So we have to build an army. And when we build that base, and I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, the number of people who will come here weekly, daily, weekly, monthly, and annually for tourism purposes will more than increase 3 to 4 times. You ain't see nothing yet? This model have either not even a properly half-scale model. They're just wasting time with this one. Because we will have what it takes to attract people of all ethnicities into this place. We already have the physical beauty and the physical welcomeness. We just have to keep it as a peaceful zone. But when we start producing the best quality foods and drinks and medicines and culture, then you will see what would happen here. Okay? So we have to train our youth in all these things. Skills. The youth have it. The youth, this generation of youth have it. You have to look at it and see how they handle technology. You give a youth now these days a cell phone for a couple of weeks, and they will do marvels with that you never even thought is possible. And once you show them other technological things, they will master it, because we were the first, our ancestors were the first scientists on this earth, real scientists. Now we have a false science going about that's trying to keep us down, and that is why we have to transform. We have to transform the food, and we are going to do it, an agriculture sector of this country. So we're going to heal the land. Heal the land. The land itself is going to be healed. And we have several activities to put in place in healing this land. Other people in this grouping are already doing that, other affiliated groups. Right? It's not just Nature Eye. Nature Eye is just a creation of a vibration. Meeting like vibrations and like creations out there. Nature's way and another one. Okay? You have We Heal Nations in another one. We have others. So when the love in you meet the love in I, and meet the love in someone else, we put it together. Nobody can destroy that. When the knowledge in you meet the knowledge in I, and the knowledge in the other grouping, we put it together. Nobody can destroy that. That is the collective security we're talking about to put it together. Because of the weak farmers organization and fisherfolk organization in this country, we have to train people, and we are going to train people in every agricultural district. Because the agricultural district is a good demarcation. Because within the agricultural district, you would have a fishing zone. So you don't have to go into another zone for that, use the people in that. So we're talking about using those and developing the people with the aptitude and the love, internal love of it, to train them in management of organizations. How you function and organize the organizations into those groupings. We're going to say any more than that because we don't want too many copycats out there trying to do what we're doing. Structuring, the ordering of it has to be in a particular way. And now you're spending your time collectively reasoning, not collectively talking commerce and foolishness and religion and these kind of things. Not that they're putting down religion, but the religion that you're being taught is holding your back. And I say now with no water in my mouth. Our people who are spiritual people talking to the clean righteousness creators. Creators, original, spotless ones. The good doers. That's how our people used to talk to, the good doers, the vibration. Not the divide and rulers, but the uniters, the replenishers. And that is what we have to do. So we heal in the land. Then we heal in the soils. Yes, that's a fundamental thing that we're going to do. Heal the soils. Healing the soils to bring the soils forward to where they were 400-500 years ago, 300-400-500 years ago. When they didn't have any this side and that side and this side and that side in it and all kind of foolishness. Right? Build up the carbon. Do some research on carbon, you're going to see. The blackest thing out there, that's why we black, so carbon we got. Carbon, the element. Right? Now they're talking about carbon sink, too much carbon dioxide in the air, so you have to take some of the carbon out and fix it in the earth so that the life in the earth could produce it into minerals and other things which could be used by plants and other things to produce food, cycle and recycle that whole energy. So we're going to heal the soils. And the people who are going to be involved will be instructed and trained in how we heal the soils. We're setting up marketing production structures. We already been working on the marketing side, so we know that we know for sure that there's a market. That means a demand for our products worldwide, locally, regionally, and internationally. What is happening now is that we do not have the structure to link it up to make it happen. When I say we the people here, so we're going to put that in place. That would be like your skeleton of your house, right? The steel frame on which you build everything else. Without that, everything fall down. So we're going to put that in place by training the people and putting the right people in the right places and making you responsible. And then we're going to build it on that. So once you start, we heal the soils and we start producing the right inputs for the soil. That is one of the major things we're going to do. We're going to be producing in large quantities, commercial quantities. Some of it going to be partly manufactured right here, and the rest is going to be finished in Pennsylvania. But this country here is going to be the distribution site for the whole of the Caribbean, this part of the Caribbean here. So we're going to create in not just production and productivity, but lots of employment, directly and indirectly. And we're going to be providing the marketing capability so that once you're involved in the project, you don't have to worry where what you're producing is being sold or bought. That's already taken care of. And we have to teach our people the new type of business so that by the time we get to 2030, and a little beyond, those of us who will be so blessed to reach there in the physical, we will see more involvement of local business, of people here have local businesses, shares and so on, which have local, regional and international demand for the products. We're not going to build anything like what had gone before. The associations, even though they generated a lot of cash, they were weak. That is why they were destroyed by the stroke of a pen. Like the Banana Association, like the struggling Root Industry Association, in which the farmers have no say. We're not going to be building those structures. We're going to transform. And this has nothing to be afraid of, nothing to do with whatever you see in here now existing as politics, because none of them could have stopped the time. None of them could have stopped the time. That is why we're transforming. So who want to stop in that mental frame, on that frame? As we must say, you will feel it, the fire burning. This is melting your souls and melting your gold. Yep. That's where we're going to go. We're going to heal the people. So we're healing the land, we're healing the soils, and we're healing the people. Great healing time. That's our work. That's the job we have. That is where Natty has to go. Right? We're going to transform the mindset of the people. Yes, that has to be worked on. All the people. All the people. I'm speaking mainly of the agriculture and food sector, but it's going to all the people. Right now, for those of us who travel in the public transport and who have an idea of what happens in other countries around us and in the larger countries, we have to have the most dotish set of people operating the public transport in terms of drivers and conductors on average. They are the most dotish set of people. And we have to develop a minimum standard people of knowledge, training and education going forward for anyone to be employed in any one of these sectors. You can't just pick anybody and put them there so and they're not trained properly, especially in terms of meeting with the public. There are some conductors from South Leeward who think they could talk down to tell the traveler, the passenger, who's paying his or her money to get where they want to go anything. But sometimes they want to force 5 people in a seat that could normally hold 4, but could only hold 3 people because of the size of the people. And they want to force 5 people in there until you go there. It's like some of these people never even did short division, much more long division. So we have to develop a different mindset in our people. That's just one example. That's the most glaring example. And when they ram the vans like that, and they turn they have no care for the age of the people on the van and the air drums, they turn the music up to a high decibel level. They don't care who suffer from that after. All they care about is when you come out, you pay them what you're supposed to pay them. And we have a system that's not putting any clamping on that. So we have to transform that whole system, because no sense talking to who's supposed to be in charge and who's supposed to regulate it. It makes no sense. Make absolutely no sense. Because there's a vicious circle. They love it so that when they decide to go out there and trap them and get them a case or two, they're making money. So they're making money off of the foolishness that they're doing. They're not cutting out the foolishness to give the public a better climate in which to travel. They're leaving it there to happen so that they could charge the people when they feel like, and same money that the people paying has to come and pay them, pay both of them to keep us uncomfortable. That's where we are in this system. Food, we have to make sure, starting this year, this 2025, that some of the words we put into action, or some of the words spoken in all of these OECS countries, in particular, spoken in CARICOM, where we reduce our food import bill 25 by 25. It might look difficult now because we have less than 12 months, calendar months to go. We have about little less than 13 lunar months to go before we could say that. But we have to work at it. So that a lot of these things you see selling on the sidewalks, the onion, the garlic, even the Irish potato, although I'm not a favorite of pushing that, because we have to push our sweet potato. And a lot of the foods you see selling, our sweet potatoes, whatever, ground food, our eddos, our ginger, our turmeric, whatever it is you have, we hardly seeing beans and so on to talk about. These are the things when we walk in our Kingston and we go to wherever our vendors are selling, what we see there should be much more locally produced and much less imported than what we see now. And not just that, of a higher nutrient quality, good food. Okay? Because when you get into this program, or I'm speaking about, you're using anything like urea and them kind of stupidness, No, we're providing different things for you. We healing the land. You can't heal land with those foolish things that they're bringing in there. And those hobbies, those old things that you think about putting this in your banana field, and some people will swear to these ignorances. No, we're healing the land, we're healing the soil, we're healing the people. Because when you eat the food that is coming out, these non-communicable diseases will vanish from you, and you will be a healed person. You will be a healed person. So we're transforming the mindset of the people. We're also transforming the knowledge of the people. What you know. And this is starting from the preschool age group, because one of the things that we intend to do is to support the schools, in particular the secondary schools, and as many primary schools as we can, in terms of the agricultural science sector, by providing them with some annual financing to do certain things during the year. Right now, they don't have that. That's not budgeted for, because not that there's no money, or there's not availability of that, but because the system does not want that knowledge to spread so early. They want to have a mass pool of half-trained people. have knowledgeable people who they could pull from and put you there to do this and put you there to do that. And most of the things, none of them related to the agriculture and food sector because it goes to their advantage. So we're going to spread the knowledge. That is why we're going to have all these young people trained in different skills. Apart from that, we're going to have it in the schools, where the schools will have a more practical curriculum in terms of food and agriculture. And never mind what space you have to produce some aspect of your school food and feeding program right there. They talk in zero hunger, but what they have right now is zero food. But we're going to be implementing zero hunger by having food and having the right kinds, quality, and volume of food. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. No time to waste. No time to waste. So the knowledge is going to be transformed, all of the people. So when the people know, and they know that they know, they don't have to believe anything. They know that they know. And when you know that you know, you do what is right, what you're supposed to do. And when you share the love, you build the unity, things come proper in place. Yes. And of course, we're going to transform the misorder of the people's organizations. It's not an order. The organization that we have is not properly structured. They're not properly structured. And they don't function properly. And they don't produce sufficient. That is where we are. Right now, let me just give you something practical. What we're looking for right now, and I'm saying this because I want to throw it out there that anybody who hears this and knows of anybody who is interested and know of a right, contact I immediately. Have an investor who is looking for fisher folk to catch flying fish as much as possible. And of course, to produce other fish, longline fish, for the Barbados market. So much so that the investor has already invested in equipment. So you want to worry about the equipment. For example, if you say you have the capacity to catch flying fish because you meet them out there or whatever it is, but you don't have the net, we provide them that. That is one of the areas as far as we go in. We're providing those things. What we need you to do is provide the mindset and the willingness and the vision. You have to develop that to know that these things require certain investments of potential and time. So the little, for example, we talk about longline, a little skimpy boat you have going out there and you just want to go out in the morning, come in the evening because of what? When you could go out and spend 3, 4, 5 nights, maybe a week, and when you come in, the value of what you have, and you have it properly stored on ice, the value of what you have is much, 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 much more than if you went out 4, 5, 6, 7 days, the same number of days, morning to evening and come in. That is the level you have to go at, because you're not competitive. And if you don't do that, other people from other countries will come in like what's happening now and take your space. And then less money will be circulating in the economy and you start crying. Half of the tears you're crying is your fault. Yes, the system is bad, but you join in with the system to make it worse through your ignorance and your lack of wanting to know what to do to get up and get. So we're going to transform the misorder of the organizations, not going out any more details, and put them in a way so that by the time you meet and you do what you have to do in the various restructuring of it. You're in tune with what is happening. You have a management structure there that can manage the business of the people, because there's a business involved, the business of the communities, the business of the national organization, and the community organizations collectively. Yes, so what are the expected results? Short, long, medium. First thing we expect is to have the development and creation of a strong army for the food and agricultural sector. Yes, strong army. Army with people who have a management structure functioning, what we now call an executive. But it also has much more than an executive. It has other structures. And that is where you're going. But I think before I get into that, I will call for the third tune of the program, war, because it's war we're into. And to understand it better, let us get the vibes of that, and then I will go deep. Yes, I. War in a Babylon. When Jah bust the danger. Yes, I. Stand strong, warriors. Stand strong, warriors. We're transforming. We're not reforming. We're not into the repairs. Yeah, we know I know you want to stay one step ahead of them, but we one step ahead of them every time, remember. But we right now, we just war in a Babylon right now. So because we see the smoke rising, and I feel the Babylon wheels shaking. You feeling them shaking, man. Because for too long they've been victimizing. Too long. Too long into that. Yes. So that's what we're going to do. Expected results in the short and medium term. So in the short term, that's what we want to do. Right? First year, short term, train a minimum of 400 people. About each, we have 10 agricultural districts, because District 4, you have District 4A and 4B. So you have District 1, 2, 3, 4A, 4B, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is the Grenadines, right? So you have in 10, you're training 10 set of people to be the management sector, the executive, right? But you need other people to fill other areas, which we wouldn't see right now. What are the other areas? Holding some of that information a little tight, function properly. So that each people, and then of course, what we would be providing, I could say this one right up. Because you're going to be trained in a minimum of a 12-week skills training program. You could have 2 consecutive 12 weeks program, the same person. Depends on your need. We are going to be providing a stipend for every day that you come to the training. Right? A sensible stipend that could take care of your transportation and your food for the day. We're not going to we know how it is. We're not going to just call you out your house and, no. We're going to produce that because we want to know that, show you that we're interested in your development and see how much you are interested in your own development. So don't even think about you just coming for the stipend, because we having an evaluation constantly to make sure that you get where you're supposed to get, and we get what we're supposed to get, where we're supposed to get. Okay? But at the end of your training, you have to worry about employment. Again, you're already employed. Could be self-employed in business because we're teaching you business, or employed within the same structure. We're somewhere in the sector to be employed. That is one thing. So we're not training you to make you unemployed or underproductive or underemployed. We're training you because we want to build up the most efficient and effective agricultural and food sector. When I say food, I mean including fishing in the entire region. And now we get on to something called the achievement of food sovereignty to a very high degree. That's where we're going, achievement of food sovereignty. You know what I mean by that? We go on past security, Security is when you have money to buy food and they come from outside. For example, now, let me say Irish potato come from England and Canada, and you have money to buy it all the time. That's a part of the security. Your money is the security and you buy it from there. But when you have no control over the potatoes and the planting material or how it's grown or whatever. But when you have food sovereignty, that means what you're growing here, you have control over the basic inputs, the germplasm. The germplasm. You see like how they systematically destroyed our sovereignty when it came to the cannabis in the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s by all these helicopter raids when they were stealing our germplasm, our seed material under the guise of war against drugs. And now they reach a position now where they eliminate all the heirloom landrace varieties of seed that we had. So we don't have no local, hardly could find the local now, what your reputation has built on. I just using that crop, but it did in a lot of crops now. Right now, you could hardly find local corn seed, the corn we had 2 generations ago, 1 generation ago. When you could go in your cornfield and take 4 or 5 cobs and hang them up in your kitchen or somewhere, your roof somewhere, to dry properly and use them to plant the next crop. So a lot of the germplasm that we're getting in to come will be heirloom because we know where to find them internationally. It's still around. And if any breeding to be done, we will do our own breeding or any hybridization. Because we will still have the heirloom basic parents to refer to anytime we need. So having control over your own planting material, having control over your own inputs, which we are going to make sure happen, Great Growth and Nature Eye, especially inputs. Having control over your land, the use of the land, which must happen, because this land belongs to us, belongs to the Crown. Never mind what they're telling you, but we'll cover that in a different program. The only Crown involved is I. Okay? And no administrative system, which we call government, could come and dictate to the people, without the people's consent, what to do with the agricultural land. That ain't happening again. It ain't happening again, my brethren. My sister, it ain't happening again. Have no fear. Not even for atomic energy. And none of them could have stopped the time. Okay? And we're going to create a weekly food and agricultural income of more in this country of more than $10 million per week. Yeah, possible, quite possible. And I've been using a conservative figure. We are going to, because we reached 5 million already. And we didn't have half of what we needed to make sure it was sustainable. So we're going to do it different now. We're going to create in this country a weekly food and agriculture income of more than $10 million a week right here. So that every child, every pygmy who left to go to school a morning time, whatever school, because they're going to a school now which teaching real knowledge, they know where their breakfast coming from, they know where their lunch coming from, and they know where their recess break coming from. And they know what quality food they're eating. Because you're not eating no empty calorie food to tie up your brain so you can't retain not knowing the teacher tell you what it is. Different thing. You ain't eating anything to give you fats that unsaturated fats that piling you up and only make you look obese and something else. No. We eating the right food and giving the right vibrations. So, until next time, it's Exodus. Thanks to the radio station, thanks to the sponsors, thanks to the listeners. Have a blessed night. Until next week.